Ryan Coogler wrote Creed inspired by his family's battles with illness. Ryan Coogler wrote Creed inspired by his family's battles with illness. Rocky jogs around the ice rink because Stallone couldn't skate. Rocky jogs around the ice rink because Stallone couldn't skate. Rocky Balboa was the first film in the series to use real punching sounds. Rocky Balboa was the first film in the series to use real punching sounds. Rocky was not supposed to make it out of Rocky V. By the time Rocky V rolled around, the series had been around for nearly 15 years. Sylvester Stallone was getting older, and he thought it might finally be time to retire, or more specifically, kill off the character he'd spent so long writing and portraying. Stallone was so emotional writing the film that he cried during Rocky's death scene. Unfortunately, those tears were for naught, as a studio executive told Stallone that Rocky, like Batman, could never leave the world of the living. So Stallone kept him alive and ended up writing one of the worst films in the series, which managed to bury the franchise in the next 16 years. The studio wanted a different actor to play Rocky. You're the Best Around was written for Rocky Roman III, but Stallone rejected it. Dolph, Lundgren, and Sly Stallone really fought, and things ended in the hospital. Stallone pocketed 10% of the first film's gross. Stallone pocketed 10% of the first film's gross. Rocky was made for under $1 million, but grossed $1 million. Most successful movies these days require a massive upfront cost to make. For example, the average Marvel film costs just under $1 million per film. Rocky's budget was less than $1 million total. That's why it was so surprising to see the movie gross over $1 million from just the box office alone. Audiences didn't care that the film didn't look as sharp as some others at the time. They were inspired by the story and told all their friends about the exciting movie. That training run in Rocky Roman II would have been more than 30 miles. The training montage is one of the most memorable parts of any Rocky movie. They tend to feature the best songs, and they almost convince viewers to get off the couch themselves. The running sequence in Rocky Roman II specifically stands out as one of the greatest. Rocky runs through the streets of Philadelphia, eliciting cheers from onlookers and even inspiring kids to run alongside him. Astute journalists noticed that for Rocky to run past all the landmarks in the montage, he would need to jog more than 30 miles. That's right, a single day of training for Rocky apparently means running a marathon with an extra 4 miles thrown in as a cool down. The original ending had Rocky throw the fight and open up a pet store. If the studio had kept Sylvester Stallone's original script, not only does he lose the fight like in the final script, but Rocky also throws it on purpose so he can make extra cash. Why does he intentionally lose? So he can pay to open up a pet store for Adrian. Not exactly the most thrilling end to a dramatic boxing film. The producers offered free chicken to anybody who came to the final fight. Rocky's budget wasn't high, so sometimes the film's producers had to get creative. They didn't have money to hire a bunch of extras, so instead they put out an advertisement for a free chicken dinner to anybody willing to be in the crowd during the final fight. The gamble worked out. In the end, 4,000 people showed up to get free chicken, watch a fake boxing match, and help create cinematic history. Stallone wanted Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, but got Eye of the Tiger instead. In editing Rocky Roman III, Sylvester Stallone wanted to use Queen's Another One Bites the Dust during the intro. It had the feel Stallone wanted, and he liked how the lyrics fit with Rocky's character development. Unfortunately, Queen refused to let him use the song. So, scrambling, Stallone reached out to the band Survivor and asked them to write something similar to Another One Bites the Dust. The lead guitarist plugged in a little amp, watched a snippet of the film, and tried to put chord hits in time with the punches in the scene. Then, he heard one of the characters say, "Hey, Rocky, you're losing the Eye of the Tiger," and like that, Eye of the Tiger was born. Mickey was originally racist, and Apollo Creed was meant to be Jamaican. Sylvester Stallone wrote the original script for Rocky. He wanted certain characters to be more vile and less endearing. Perhaps Stallone wished to depict the problems prevalent in society, rather than prioritizing inspirational qualities. Whatever the case, Stallone's first version of Mickey was a petulant racist. It's a good thing the studio made Stallone change Mickey into someone more sympathetic, because it sure would have undercut Rocky Roman III if Rocky were crying over a dying racist. There was also a plan in place to make Apollo Creed Jamaican, which would have added an interesting facet to Creed's character. Stallone wrote the whole script in less than 4 days. With only in the bank, Stallone was looking to profit off his script immediately. He wrote the Rocky script in 5 days, which explains why the rewrites for the film were so extensive. Stallone estimates the studio only kept about 10% of what he originally wrote. The original script would be unrecognizable to even the most passionate Rocky fans, as there were monumental changes between the first draft and what we see on screen. Still, 10% was enough to get Stallone where he is today. When Stallone wrote Rocky, he had in the bank. Nowadays, people tend to see Sylvester Stallone as one of the most successful actors of all time. He's been the face of massively successful franchises like Rocky and Rambo, and continues to beat the hell out of people who could be his grandchildren in the wildly entertaining Expendables films. But that's where he is now. In 1975, Stallone had sitting in his bank account. Stallone basically was Rocky, but instead of punching hanging meat into submission, he beat his typewriter until it spit out an Oscar-nominated script.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.